There you go. Gonzalez is still going to be a productive guy, and it's going to be interesting to see where he. I mean, right now, if you're picking, you're on the clock, and say Gronk, Hernandez are gone, and Jimmy Graham. Even though maybe Hernandez isn't, because I have Whitten and Gonzalez higher than Hernandez. In your opinion, though, Whitten or
Hernandez
Gonzalez?
Hernandez been injured last year. But now Gronk's hurt. Gronk's not ready for the season. That's the first few weeks. Hernandez is going to be gold right there.
So, Whitten or Gonzalez if you're on the clock?
Oh, if I'm on the clock, I'm thinking Gonzalez. Actually, I don't know. That's close.
I might go the other way.
Because Whitten is going to get those 100 yards, but he doesn't score. It's kind of the other way, except Gonzalez does get a fair amount of yards. But he scores a ton of touchdowns. He's a huge red zone target.
I think that's the difference between him and Whitten. Whitten gets more receptions, though, because there's not as many weapons. Because he does have Des Bryant.
Des Bryant and Miles Austin. They don't match up to Roddy White and Julio Jones, but they're targeted just as much.
Yeah, so it is going to be interesting. The Cowboys also drafted a receiver in Terrence Williams out of Baylor.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
So, I mean, that's another pick that could take away some receptions.
Escobar, so.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Gonzalez, slightly.
I would probably agree as of right now, and I still think, even though this is his last year, he will be skipping training camp. I still think it's going to be a very productive year out of him, and tight end's a wasteland, just like it was last year.
Yeah.
I'm just not a fan of the tight end class again this year, but I don't know when it's going to change, but I'm sure there will be guys rising. What about Gates? Injuries.
Was a huge bust last year.
I'm just scared of injuries. He never stays healthy.
Yeah, I don't like Gates. I had him a couple of years ago. He was productive, but just last year, I don't think he scored over 6. No, he had like one double-digit game. The rest were like 6, 4.
8. I mean,
they were bad.
It was tough a year for Gates, and he's been a productive fantasy guy, but I really like to avoid players that have consistently been injured.
Yeah, like Gronk, but Gronk is just so productive when he's there that he's worth the risk.
It's kind of like Hernandez. The Patriots almost have 2 very injury-prone tight ends, but I think Gronk has just gotten the bad luck with his injuries because that ankle injury right before the Super Bowl, that was a tough one that took him out. But the good thing is, these are during the off-season. That's the difference. They're during the off-season where...
Well, no, he got hurt during the year when he broke his wrist, but then...
But it's at the end of the year, so it's not going to affect the year.
And now he got a setback. No, he got a setback just a few weeks back, which is questioning if he's going to be ready for the season.
So then there you go. I mean, it's tough. But Hernandez gets hurt more. But I think the issue with his injuries are not as big as Gronk's, because Gronk's had some serious injuries. Yeah. That's why I really like Jimmy Graham. He's the most complete.
I think Graham is the best.
I just think you can't mess on him.
Yeah. So let's one last thing before we go. We got a few minutes left. Some drafts that are say a few teams that you think had the best drafts. Start with.
I mean, I think the first one I think everybody's been using is the Minnesota Vikings with their 3 picks. Yeah. With Floyd, Rhodes, and Patterson. I really like the Bills draft because of their franchise. I think when you think that you draft a franchise guy, I think right there you can start building.
Not only did they get a franchise guy, they also built around him.
That's what I really like when they picked up Robert Woods. They got him another speedy guy in Teague out of Texas. I mean, you got to set it up, and with Spiller is a good running game, he doesn't have to come in. So, I mean, I'm starting to think the Jets didn't have as bad of a draft because I'm starting to like the D. Milner pick because he still does what you want him to do. Losing Darrelle Revis, I think you really need to shore that up. But, I mean, the Sheldon Richardson pick was bad, but my top 3 teams that had probably the best draft to me were the Vikings, the Bills. I mean, and then I would probably say, I think the Eagles.
Yeah.
But since
they had a good draft. I mean, a lot of people have been talking about that.
I think Chip Kelly really hit his first draft, getting productive offensive players. I mean, Lane Johnson's the perfect fit for him, and then Zach Ertz, same as well. And I think they got a steal in Matt Barkley. If you're telling me you put a guy last year that would have been a top 10 pick in the 4th round this year, the value pick was just there, and it doesn't matter. I think he's gonna. I don't think the whole scheme thing. I think it's not a concern.
Yeah, if Barkley would have went in, he might have been a Dolphin last year.
Maybe, and then would Tannehill have been a Bill?
Unfortunately, maybe. I don't like Tannehill.
I think he's going to improve.
I just don't like him.
I actually really like him.
Yeah, they got him some weapons. Well, Mike
Wallace.
But
But I think when you have Mike Wallace and you have Dustin Keller and that offensive line, it did weaken losing Jake Long. That's going to be tough. I think he is going to be improved the most. And I actually really like him, and I think his mobility is good. Fantasy-wise, I would consider him as my backup. But he's nowhere near, I don't think, the top 3 guys of last year, rookie-wise. But I would take him over Geno. Maybe not Manuel. I really like Manuel, and I think that's why I think the Bills had one. I think many people are criticizing them, but I think they hit it on right there with that pick. That was a great pick.
Yeah, so that's going to do it for this edition, our latest podcast, Get Real Football Experts. So starting tomorrow and the next few days, we'll be getting into our schedule rundowns. Let me talk about a minute about that. Last year we did them. They were long. They were repetitive. I mean, after a while, if you listen to them all, which you probably didn't, but we just started saying the same thing. So we're splitting them. I'm taking 16. He's taking 16. And then once we get done with those, we'll do some division previews based on the schedules we did, and then a playoff preview. We're gonna do it.
It makes it better. It makes May somewhat better for football fans, and it's going to be interesting. I mean, voice your opinions when we send them out. We'll have those up, like you said, 16-16, and I'm smelling the training camp, and football's coming, but, I mean, predictions, we'll have those up, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, so what team are you starting with? I'm starting with the Chicago Bears. We're starting with the
Detroit Lions, I want to say.
We're starting with the North, so.
I think I got the Vikings for my first video, I believe.
Well,
I got the top 3 picks.
You're doing you're doing Lions and Vikings in that division. I'm doing Bears and Packers.
Yep, so I mean, it's a fun thing, and football's coming.
All right, so please, that's it. Please follow me on Twitter at DaveCrestSports for all your NFL updates, Knicks, NBA, everything. And Louis also at DB Sports Talk.
Yes.
So we'll see you next time.
It's been real.
Yep.